And now I give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, I would like to thank Undersecretary General Madam Di Carlo for her briefing. Mr. President, during another holiday season, Ukraine had to defend its political independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity against a powerful neighbor and permanent member of the Security Council, as Russia launched new large-scale aerial bombing attacks against Ukrainian cities and territories, which continue well into New Year. Only last week, the aerial attack against Zaporizhia caused the highest number of civilian casualties in almost 2 years. It was the latest in a string of relentless attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructure in the midst of another harsh winter. The overall figure reported by OHCHR leave no room for complacency. 2024 saw a 30% increase from the previous year in the total number of killed and injured Ukrainians. 40 million Ukrainians are in need of humanitarian assistance, while the most vulnerable, in particular children, women and the elderly, bear the brunt of Russia's aggression. Casualties among children, the future of Ukraine, have now exceeded 2,500, while many women and girls have been subjected to conflict-related sexual violence. We have to remind ourselves that it's always the people who have to suffer the scourge of war. Mr. President, Greece condemns in the strongest possible terms attacks against civilians and joins calls to immediately cease all attacks against residential areas and critical infrastructure in Ukraine, and for all parties to adhere to the obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law. Instead of this war of aggression, already in its third year winding down, we have seen grave escalation in recent months. The presence of DPRK troops in the theater of war endangers international peace and security on an expanded regional scale with potentially far-reaching consequences for global nuclear security. Greece is a steadfast supporter of the critical work of the International Atomic Energy Agency and calls for respect for the 7 pillars and 5 basic principles introduced by IAEA Director General. Mr. President, the war has global repercussions and impacts on international food security, affecting economies and basic needs of population around the world, and especially in Africa. Russia's attacks against Ukrainian ports and third countries' vessels have aggravated the security situation in the Black Sea, thus obstructing the export of Ukrainian grain over the sea. In that respect, we support the Secretary General's efforts in his engagements to revive the Black Sea Grain Initiative following Russia's withdrawal. Mr. President, Greece's foreign policy has always been defined by commitment and adherence to international law, and the belief that all disputes can be resolved through dialogue has been embedded in our culture. We reaffirm our commitment to the sovereignty, political independence and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. On this basis, we support a comprehensive, just and lasting peace, which requires first and foremost the immediate, complete and unconditional withdrawal of Russian troops from the territory of Ukraine, in line with the UN Charter, international law and numerous General Assembly resolutions. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece for